welcome to another Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and before we get started, remember if you like what you see in this video, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. Consider joining our Patreon to support Teacher's Corner, and you can also consider clicking the join button on the YouTube channel. The Patreon link should be coming up in the top right hand corner of this video right about now. Alright, without any further ado, this week we will be talking about the Nukara Reputation. So this is a continuation of our Reputation series. We're going to be talking about the space gear and sets for the Reputation in this episode. We'll also go over the beginning stuff. So Nukara Reputation has 6 tiers, just like all the other reps, and you can get Nukara marks from doing different TFOs, or task force operations. In this case, you can do Azura Nebula Rescue, Crystalline Catastrophe, Nukara Prime Self-Destructive Tendencies, Nukara Prime Transdimensional Tactics, and the Vault Ensnared. And I don't know why it doesn't show it, but you should also be able to do Defend Ryla Station. Oh no, that's wrong landmarks, never mind. Hello! Okay, so these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different TFOs will give you Nukara marks. Alright, so without any further ado, here we go. Alright, so when we hit Tier 1, we unlock ground traits. Excuse me, and these are Identify Vulnerability and Indomitable. And these, very quickly, Indomitable gives you plus 10% health. Identify Vulnerability ignores 7.5% of your target's shields. When you get to Tier 2, you get Enhanced Shield Penetration, ignores 5% of your target's shields with directed energy attacks. So if you're using torpedoes, this is going to be useless. And Fortified Hull, which is just plus 7.5% hull capacity. Pretty simple. Emergency Fix for Tier 3. This is ground abilities again. And we get 1 to 100% chance when critically hit to receive, plus 50% shield resistance, and plus 44.8 hit points every second. And you get a bigger chance as your health is down. And then you have the Cryo Immobilizer module, which gives a 20% chance to apply a damage over time effect. Blah blah blah, basically a cold effect. Be good against Tholians every second for 5 seconds with 50% shield penetration. Alright, and now we get to Tier 4. Tier 4 is where the gold is at, let me tell you guys. Okay, this is considered, or this trait right here, the Auxiliary Power Configuration Offense, is considered to be a must-have, or one of the must-have standard traits that you use on a DPS centered build. Okay, even to this day. So let's take a look. It gives a scaling bonus all damage. Bonus all damage to you. That means a category 2. Category 2 is really good. Damage bonus based on your auxiliary power level. So, for example, I'm going to go up into space so we can see what it actually is doing. Okay. So this tune, and let's loading, here we go. So this tune, if you look right now, and I did not fix these. Okay. so this tune is gonna have basically 70. Okay. At least that. And that. Okay, so she's gonna have 101 minimum as her auxiliary power, and if we look, wrong one, there we go, and it's showing me 5.1% bonus all damage based on my auxiliary. Now, if I increase that up as high as it'll go, now I've got 6.5% bonus all damage. So this does scale. The higher your damage or your auxiliary power, the more you get. And actually, since this tune's science, we're going to leave it like that. Alright, so as I said, damage bonus, always good. Bonus all damage, always good. So we want this trait. And then we have auxiliary power configuration defense. Now this does the same thing, but it does it for resistances. So in this case, with her auxiliary power where it is, she's going to get plus 26 all damage resistance rating and plus 6.5 maximum hit points and plus 6.5% maximum shield capacity. Okay, so again, this is based on your auxiliary power. So very good traits. Definitely want to be using those. Tier 5. Now when you complete Tier 5, you get, here's where your reward is, you get 750 Nukara marks, 32,000 dilithium, and 40,000 EC, and an amount of expertise and all of that good stuff. You also get the Refracting Tetri Cascade. This is another pretty good one. Now it does give Tetri damage. So now you're going to say, well, Teach, I'm not running a Tetri build. Doesn't matter. Okay? The amount of damage this does is pretty good, and it does it. So if you look down at the bottom, it's doing 8,191.7 Tetri damage to nearby targets, and then it jumps to 3 different targets from that first one. You can get a good shot off on this. Now if you look, from your deflector dish at foes within 3 kilometers. Okay? So it releases a cascading burst of Tetri energy from your deflector dish at foes within 3 kilometers. Now it doesn't say here how many foes within 3 kilometers. So you can get a pretty good amount of them. And when you hit that foe, that can jump to 2 targets. Then those can jump to 2 targets, etc. But it ends up, it can be a huge amount of damage. So definitely a good trait. And if you are running a Tetri build, this does get buffed by your Tetri consoles. So that's going to do a crap ton of damage. Okay. And then Tier 6, everything gets boosted up to rank 2, of course. And da-da-da. And then of course we have our gear unlocks. So we're going to talk today about the space gear unlocks, which okay, so we have the Nukara particle converter. This is actually kind of an interesting one. It does give some accuracy rating, which can be good. It also gives, and this is what makes it interesting, it gives exotic particle generator, or EPG, as well as some drain expertise. The drain expertise is nice, okay, but the EPG is actually quite useful on science builds. There are a number of science builds that are still using this console, even today, just as a standard. This is one of the consoles you consider getting when you're doing a science build. Alright, next we have, and this is the Tier 6 unlock, the Hyper Dual Refracting Antiproton Beam Array is the Tier 6 unlock. This is the alternative weapon type. And what this does, basically it's like a normal antiproton, except it has the chance to damage the next nearest enemy target. Okay, so there you go. And then we have the original hyper refracting Tetri, which again will damage has a chance to go to the next nearest enemy. There's also the Web Mine Launcher, the Nukara Web Mine Launcher, and these act like regular mines. Okay, and then we have, and that is your weapon set, and that is called the, one moment, let me get my notes here. That is called the Appropriated Munitions Set, and this has 2-piece and 3-piece set bonuses. The 2-piece set bonus for this is called Energy Amplification, and this gives a passive 9%, 9.5% to both Tetri and Antiproton damage, as well as gives plus 19 Starship Drain expertise. Okay, the 3-piece set bonus upgrades the Hyper Dual Beam Bank's special firing modes. So Fire at Will and Beam Overload will both hit additional targets. Okay, so that's actually pretty good 3-piece set bonus if you're using this set. Alrighty, and now let's move on to the Nukara Strike Force Technologies set here. Alright, so then we have our deflector, our engines, and our shield set from the Nukara Strike Force. Okay, and we have the Nukara Deflector Array, pretty standard, has some shield restoration, some hull capacity, some shield capacity, a little bit of damage control, and some drain expertise. Pretty standard, heavy on the survivability. Okay, then we have for our impulse engines, plus 19 flight speed, pretty standard stuff, plus 5 shield power, additional shield power, and of course full impulse, pretty standard stuff. And then we have the Nukara Crystalline Resilient Shields. Now this one has a 1% chance to reflect 150% of incoming damage back at the attackers. Okay, so what that means is if I attack you and you're using this shield, there is a chance that the shields are gonna reflect back my entire attack and another half of it on top. Okay, so time and a half. So that's actually not a bad proc. It doesn't amount to much DPS, but it's at least something. Okay. Now this is a resilient shield, so it's 5% absorption, 5% bleed through, which personally is my favorite. This also has a reduction of Tetri damage, radiation damage, and all energy damage to shields by 10%. So, nice little bonuses there. Now let's talk about the 2-piece bonuses, 2 and 3-piece bonuses. So, the 2-piece set bonus is actually plus 5% bonus energy weapon damage. So this isn't going to help you if you're doing science, not that much anyway. It's not going to buff your gravity well, for example. But this does buff your energy weapons. It's not going to help you if you're doing torps. Okay? But this is pretty good for energy weapons. That's your beams, that's your cannons. Okay? And your turrets. So that is a good thing. Now normally people will use the most DPSers will use the deflector and the shield as the 2 pieces, and you know there's a reason for that, because usually the engines, if you're going to do that combo, usually the engines are the Romulan engines. This is very old meta. So, this is an old one, but it does still work. It gives a pretty good bonus. The 3-piece set, also there's weapon stabilizers. They automatically remove weapons disabled conditions after 3 seconds. And that can only occur up to once every 60 seconds. Alright, and then the 3-piece set bonus is the unstable Tetri lattice. Okay? And this has a 10-kilometer range with a 3-minute recharge. And it says a certain amount of Tetri damage to initial target, another amount of Tetri damage to foes within 5 kilometers of target, shuts down your weapon stabilizers for 30 seconds. Okay? So, there you go. So, it's a clicky that basically deals Tetri damage to one target and another target within 5 kilometers. Okay? In my opinion, I'd stop at the 2-piece, but that's just me. Alright. And then of course we have, this is one that comes with a few other things for their space gear. It does have a Hangar Pet that you can buy, and these are character bind on pickup. But it does have the Elite Widow Hangar Pet, ultra rare, and it is a tier 5 reward, and they are quite expensive. Well, 240 marks and 38,000 dill. Okay, and then we have a few other things. These are consumables. Okay, these items are consumable items. There's the reprogrammed Tholian drone. These are ground ones. Okay, yeah, these are ground ones. So we'll go over them when we talk about ground next week. Alright, so that is all for the space gear and space info for the Nukara Reputation. Join me next time for the Nukara Ground Reputation info, and I will see you then.